NCBM 0324, Section 2.4, Rounding and Finance Formula Practice, Part 5. Now our last version of our annuity is the payment version of the present value annuity. And to me, this one seems like the more complicated because we're going to have to use that answer, that store and recall feature a few times. And again, it has to do with the order in which these operations need to take place. So in the payment version of our present value annuity, we can see that that fraction flips around. So my division is going to be a little more complex because more of the decimals are going to happen in the bottom, right? This is the more interesting part in the denominator now. And we still have that subtraction, 1 minus this answer here, right? We've got to make sure the order of that is done correctly. So with the given values, we have $10,000 as our present value. We're looking for payment, 9% interest, time of 4 years, and compounded 12 times a year monthly. Plugging in those into the present value annuity payment version, here's what we would work with. So all the numbers plugged into the right place. Notice the power, the exponent. We're still going to work with that first. 12 times the 4 gives me the negative 48. So that's a little initial step, the easy step that we could take at the very beginning. So we could then start entering into the calculator at this point. And again, I'm going to start with that 1 plus the fraction part, right? I'm going to have 0.09 divided by 12. All right, give me that decimal, right? Scientific notation would translate into this here. I'm going to add 1 to that. All right, so we're looking good. We're so far in here. Now comes the power, so I'm going to raise it to the negative 48. Don't forget the negative. It's easy to miss that one. I do that all the time, so watch out for that. We have our new value. Now this value is the bottom right-hand corner of my fraction down here. Got to make sure I do my subtraction correctly. This decimal needs to come after the minus symbol. So without clearing my calculator, I'm going to do 1 minus that answer. Or if you don't have the answer feature, 1 minus and write down all of those decimals, right? Type in those decimals to make sure we're as accurate as we can be. And then we'd end up with this number. So we're on the right track here. Now I got to make sure I do my division correctly. I'm going to make sure that my larger division is happening, where it needs to be. So as I see the numerator, I'm going to enter it. Again, without clearing my calculator. It might be a habit to always clear after every input that you do, but keep it there. You need it there, your calculator, to bring it back for you later. So without entering too early either, here's my numerator. There's outside the parentheses is the large division, and then I'm going to recall that number. Bring that answer right back. If you don't have the answer, you would type in the decimal that you just previously had. Keep track of it as you go. So then I have this new decimal, right? A lot of decimals, a lot of numbers. That represents all of the fraction part, all of this here. And the final step is to multiply by the 10,000. 10,000. And we get 248.8504237. And then our rounding comes in, 2 decimal places. Check the number to the right. Well, that's a 0. That's smaller than 5, so it's going to remain the same, leaving an answer of $248.85. And there it is. Those are our annuity problems, entering them into the calculator. Like we said at the start of this part of our section, it's going to take practice. You got to get used to your calculator, your model of calculator especially. Some models, in fact, this particular Casio model, it even has this nice fraction button that'll let us write out fractions. So if your calculator has something like this, right, it makes it a little bit easier to enter things all at once. Bring my cursor down. I can actually enter it as I see it. You can also use fewer parentheses because the position shows a little bit better of where things are going. Negative 48. So you can see how the calculator display is matching what I have in my notes to get the answer. But even if you don't have a calculator like this, if you have a regular old scientific, nothing too fancy, it doesn't have to be graphing either, you can get to the same answer. It just takes some learning, some adapting to your own calculator. So practice. It's really going to help when it comes time to the test.